Hello everyone, welcome to Beautiful Alchemy, Gems for the Soul. Suffering is a state of experiencing or undergoing pain, distress or hardship. In life, suffering is inevitable. All of us have had things happen to us that has caused us to experience some form of intense suffering. It might have been an emotional, physical, spiritual, mental pain, or a combination of the four. But we know that pain and struggle are an essential part of the human condition. So knowing it's certain that we will all go through difficult times, the important question is, will we let our suffering destroy us and drive us into a pit of despair? Or will our suffering lift us to heights of a fulfilled life? In this video, I'd like to offer a perspective on suffering that examines the value that lies on the other side of suffering and how to approach it when we go through difficulty and pain. Let's use the analogy between humans and the trees in nature. Yep, the similarity between humans and trees. In the late 1980s, scientists involved in the Biosphere project were confused by the fact that the trees within the project in an enclosed space repeatedly failed to achieve maturity before they fell over. Later, they realized that the trees needed wind in order to grow strong. Exposure to strong winds causes the growth of stress wood, which is the core of the tree's strength and integrity. Strong winds also cause the root system to strengthen. Just like a tree, if a person is placed in a sheltered environment and protected from the stressors of life, he or she is likely to grow up vulnerable and frail. Challenges, adversity, and the suffering that accompanies such experiences are necessary for a healthy development. It's important to use every instance of struggle in our lives as a moment from which to learn and grow and become refined. When we recognize it as such, it becomes so much easier to deal with the fire and pressure in our lives. Fire can be both destructive and purifying, depending on the perspective you're looking from. I studied jewellery and silversmithing at university, and when we wanted to purify a metal like gold, we would put it through fire to remove all its impurities. We would use a lot of friction to refine it, and we would put it under a great amount of pressure to shape it. And it's so funny how people only see the final result of the shiny, beautiful piece of jewellery in a boutique. And nobody knows the kind of fire and pain and pressure that piece of jewellery had to go through. The same thing applies with us as humans. Suffering is also essential for empathy. Unless we have suffered, how can we really know what others are going through in times of adversity? When you're lifting someone up from a dark place, you're able to connect with them and show empathy, because you've been through the same kind of pain they're going through now, and you've survived it. And because you've survived it, you give them hope that they can survive it too. The reason I do what I do on this channel is to be the person I needed when I was growing up, and even now as an adult going through difficult times. It's as a result of the adversity I faced that this information is available to lift someone out of a difficult time they may be going through. If I hadn't suffered, this teaching would not exist. So you could say it has come partly as a result of the intense suffering I experienced. And this is true because you really have nothing to share if you haven't been through something intensely painful. And I promise you there are powerful blessings on the other side of pain. And that's only if we embrace the experience in that way. Suffering does more than teach us. It also increases our capacity to appreciate life. This is because suffering exists at one end of the pole, and on the other end lies happiness and joy. As with all pairs of opposites, for one to exist, so must the other. For an individual to know joy, he or she must also know the pain of suffering, and the greater our capacity for one of these types of experiences, the greater our capacity for the other. But we know nobody likes to experience pain. I know it's easier said than done to say, oh, embrace your pain, embrace your challenges. Yes, I know it's easier said than done. But however, just having the awareness that the difficult situation or the terrible times that we're going through will surely, definitely pass. That takes the edge off the level of suffering and pain we may be going through. You see, by the time you've been through one or two life experiences, you know by now that difficult times never last. They don't last forever. Tough times never last. So knowing that gives you hope to just be still and ride through the storm and let it pass instead of wallowing in misery, and this usually just makes things worse. Understanding all of this only usually comes in hindsight and explains why we had to go through all the hurdles and difficult times in the first place. Of course, I know it can still be painful, but you can find peace by trusting the process, because you know that you're becoming transformed into someone strong and powerful. Every good thing in the world has come from some kind of discomfort. Everything good in the world, everything of value has come from some kind of friction or pressure or struggle. So life is not the enemy. Yes, it's true that life creates pressure, but did you know that pressure causes carbon to turn into a diamond? And did you know that pressure turns ordinary sand into pearls? Pressure can turn us into dust or diamonds. The only thing that determines which is our mindset. It's true that there isn't much we can do about the external factors and the challenges that life presents. When we're no longer able to change a situation, we're now challenged to change ourselves. We can find meaning even within the worst suffering imaginable. By changing our attitude, we can turn adversity into triumph and turn our pain into power. I would really love to hear from you guys. What do you think? How do you deal with life's challenges? Please let me know in the comment section. I really hope this helps someone out there. Thank you for watching.